Most men assume giving a compliment is easy. But here's the truth. The wrong words make you invisible. The right ones can make her crave your presence. That's the brutal reality. Think about it. How many times have you seen a guy tell a woman she's beautiful or that her dress looks nice, and nothing happens? She smiles politely, maybe says thank you, but the spark never shows. Why? Because every other man has said the same thing. The average compliment is like a cheap gift. It doesn't move her, it doesn't last in her memory. And this is where men get frustrated. They want to say something meaningful. They want their words to matter. But when the moment comes, what leaves their mouth is flat, predictable, forgettable. And once she files you away as one of those guys, it's hard to climb back up. Here's what almost no one tells you. A compliment isn't about flattery. It's about perception. It's about showing her you see more than the surface, that you notice the parts of her she doesn't expect anyone to see. When done right, it doesn't just make her smile, it echoes. It stays with her. That's attraction psychology. That's power. And that's what you're about to learn. Below are 10 kinds of compliments that bypass her defenses, stir emotion, and separate you from every other man in the room. 1. Her scent that lingers. Scent is powerful. It's invisible, untouchable, yet it can pull you into memories you thought you'd forgotten. One whiff of a familiar fragrance and you're suddenly transported to a place, a time, a person. Women know this instinctively. That's why they take their time choosing perfume. That's why fragrance counters exist. But here's what most men miss. They don't notice it. They don't acknowledge the invisible pull of her scent. And when they do, they reduce it to a throwaway line like, "You smell good." Generic. Empty. Forgotten as soon as it's said. But when you tell her her scent stays with you, that it lingers in your mind even when she's gone, that's no longer a compliment. That's an imprint. That's how you reach her subconscious, where attraction quietly grows. Psychology backs this up. Scent bypasses logic and hits the emotional brain directly. By noticing her fragrance, really noticing it, you're telling her you're tuned in, attentive, present. You make her feel not just attractive, but unforgettable. 2. A smile that lights the room. A real smile is magnetic. Not the polite smile. Not the one out of habit. The one that lights her whole face, shifts the mood of a room, makes everyone feel different. That kind of smile carries weight. Most men will say, "You have a nice smile." Safe. Predictable. Boring. She's heard it 100 times. But when you frame her smile not as a feature, but as energy, that smile could shift a room. Suddenly you're not talking about lips or teeth. You're talking about presence. And presence is unforgettable. A genuine smile signals joy, comfort, trust. When you acknowledge that effect, when you say, "I love how your smile changes the whole mood," you're not just complimenting her. You're validating her ability to move people without even trying. That's rare. That's powerful. That's the kind of compliment she'll keep replaying in her mind. 3. The courage of her truth. Every woman carries truths, beliefs, scars, quiet battles, and when she shares them, even in pieces, it takes courage. Most men ignore this. They chase surface beauty, missing the depth that shapes who she is. But if you're the man who listens, really listens, and acknowledges that strength, you build a bond no ordinary compliment could ever touch. This isn't about saying, "That's interesting." It's about looking at her and saying, "That took guts." Most people would have given up. You didn't. That's validation of her strength, her resilience, her character. Women want to be admired for beauty, yes, but they crave to be seen for their courage. Few men ever give them that gift. Be the one who does. 4. How she sees the world. Beauty may catch your eye, but her perspective is what holds your attention. Every woman filters life through her own lens: hope, humor, compassion, resilience. Most men never notice it. They focus on her looks, her laugh, her style. But when you tell her, "I love the way you see things," you're not complimenting a feature. You're admiring a mind. Perspective is earned. It's built from years of living, failing, learning, hoping. To notice how she sees the world is to acknowledge her life without needing her entire history. It's intimacy in its purest, most respectful form. And for her, that's unforgettable. 5. Energy that lifts you higher. Some women don't just walk into a room, they change the air in it. The mood shifts. The weight lifts. You feel more alive just being near them. That isn't charm. It's presence. And when you acknowledge it, being around you makes everything lighter. You're doing more than complimenting her. You're telling her that who she is makes the world better. Most men never go this deep. They stay at, "You're fun to be around." Forgettable. But to recognize the way she elevates your spirit is to show emotional awareness, a trait women secretly crave in men. It's strength disguised as sensitivity. And it works. 6. A heart that actually cares. In a world full of noise and filters, a caring heart is rare and magnetic. When you meet a woman who's kind not for show, but because it's who she is, you found something worth admiring. Don't overlook it. Don't just praise her smile, her style, her laugh. Say, "I respect how much you care. The way you treat people, it stands out." That hits deeper than beauty ever will. Because beauty fades. Compassion endures. And the man who notices it becomes the man she trusts. 7. Her fire for what she wants. Passion is powerful. When a woman talks about what drives her, her work, her mission, her dreams, you can see it in her eyes, hear it in her voice. Most men don't bother to mention it. But when you do, "I love how much passion you bring to what you do," you make her feel admired not just as a woman, but as a human being on a mission. That's the difference between attention and admiration. And admiration is what makes her invest in you. 8. The wisdom she carries. Knowledge can be memorized. Wisdom is lived. Some women carry a quiet strength, a steady, grounded calm in chaos. It's not flashy, but it's rare. And when you recognize it, I respect how you handle challenges without losing your calm. You separate yourself from men who only notice what's on the surface. That kind of recognition doesn't just touch her mind. It hits her heart. It tells her you see what others overlook, and that makes you unforgettable. 9. The rare way she changes a room. Some women don't just enter a room, they change it. Conversations shift. Energy lifts. People feel better without knowing why. Most men never mention this. But when you do, "I like how people seem happier when you're around," you're not flattering. You're naming a gift. And naming it makes it real. That's the kind of compliment she'll never forget, because it speaks not to how she looks, but to how she affects the world. 10. The woman who leaves a mark inside you. Every man has met someone unforgettable. Maybe she wasn't the most beautiful. Maybe she wasn't the most stylish. But something about her stayed. Something she said, or did, or simply was, left a mark. When you tell a woman, "You've changed the way I see things," you're giving her what every woman quietly hopes for, permanence. You're telling her she mattered, not just for a night, but for a lifetime. And that's the highest compliment a man can give. Conclusion. Compliments aren't just words. They're keys. The right ones don't just make her smile. They make her feel seen, remembered, desired, understood. You now know how to go beyond surface flattery, how to touch her heart, her spirit, even her soul. That's the difference between being forgotten tomorrow and being the man she carries with her for years. Use these not as tricks, but as truths. Mean them, feel them, speak them, and watch how everything changes.